What's good, y'all? What's good, Real Talk Squad? This is Miles, and you're listening to Talking Miles Johnson, where you know we always keep it real. It's MJ's Monday Mailbag, number 2. Our first one was last week. I had a blast answering some of y'all's questions. It was great, bro. Talking about the Eagles, the Sixers, life, the NBA Finals. I feel like I'm getting closer to y'all. And again, like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. We getting right into this episode right now. So a question that was brought to me was, where do I have A.J. Brown ranked amongst the best wide receivers in the game? A.J. Brown's a top 2 wide receiver in the game, and I don't think that should be a debate. I think the debate should be had in terms of, should he be the best wide receiver in the game between him and Jettas, bro? But between A.J. Brown and Jamar Chase, I feel like A.J. Brown clears easily. Now, look, Jamar Chase is all world. Jamar Chase is a top 3 receiver in the game. But I'm looking at this and I'm saying, I see a guy in A.J. Brown, you don't have to scheme him open. And I'm not saying with Jamar Chase that you have to scheme him open, but he certainly has to be schemed open more than A.J. Brown. Like against the Eagles, right? When Jamar Chase scored that touchdown on the Eagles, the Bengals coaching staff, Zach Taylor, strategically schemed Jamar Chase against Nolan Smith. And if you got a linebacker against Jamar Chase, man-to-man coverage, it's over. It's over. And that's not a knock on Jamar Chase. It's more saying, if he gets that, but then A.J. Brown essentially is being told, bro, A.J. Brown is essentially being told, you're swole Batman. We're not scheming you open. Just win your matchup. I don't see A.J. Brown in motion like that for real. I don't see A.J. Brown really being schemed open like that for real. What I think from A.J. Brown is a guy who is ultra talented, who's the best wide receiver in the past 3 years against man-to-man coverage. And I'm seeing the Eagles coaching staff say, win that jump. Win that jump. With Jamar Chase, yes, there are certainly times that he wins his one-on-one matchups. But more times than not, he's being schemed open compared to A.J. Brown. If you go to the stats, A.J. Brown averages 3 more yards per reception on the most run-heavy team in the league. So you got to think about that mindset, right? The mindset is, wow, like, I might get 2 touches, 3 touches, maybe 5, 6 at most. And I got to make most of them opportunities. One of my favorite games from A.J. Brown was when the Eagles faced the Ravens. And when A.J. Brown's name was called upon in that second quarter, when the Eagles were down and it looked like it could eventually be a blowout for the Ravens, it was A.J. Brown that answered the call, and it led to the Eagles getting a touchdown and essentially winning the game later on in that second half. Now, granted, in that second half, the Eagles did not go to A.J. Brown, which they should have, but it will go to show you that A.J. Brown, if you just give him an opportunity, he's going to capitalize. He's going to capitalize. And so that was a game that I saw a guy have the mindset, hey, look, I might get 3 touches. I got to get 3 touchdowns. And it's not the most realistic expectation, 3 touches, 3 touchdowns, but you have that mindset of like, I might only get a couple of touches a game and I got to make my impact versus with Jamar Chase. It's like this. With Jamar Chase is more, he knows for a fact, I'm going to get 8 targets a game. I'm going to get 8 targets. At the minimum, I'm getting 8 targets per game. And so with that, it's just a different level of mental toughness that A.J. Brown has, knowing that he might not get the ball at all and he's the best wide receiver on the field that day. Yeah, And a part of me wants A.J. Brown to be more involved because I don't want Saquon Barkley getting 340 carries a season. I don't want that to happen. I think you got to utilize A.J. Brown more, but he still had 1,000 yards in 13 games A.J. Brown had. A.J. Brown still became an all-pro. 3 straight seasons, I believe. So he has 3 All-Pros. He has 2 Pro Bowls. He has 2 conference championships and a Super Bowl. And then when he played in the Super Bowl, bro, he balled out. He has over 130 receiving yards in both Super Bowls combined and 2 touchdowns, 1 in each bowl. So this is a guy that in the biggest moments, in the biggest games, he shows up. He rises to the occasion. A.J. Brown, that is why I have him at worst, the second best wide receiver in the game. And again, like I've said, I will give Jettis credit for being a historically productive wide receiver without having an elite quarterback. Because if I have Jalen Hurts as the second best quarterback in the league, even if you don't have him that high, top 5, top 10, Jettis ain't playing with nobody that is top 10. Ain't nobody got Sam Darnold top 10. That's the only reason why. That's the only reason why. It's not really about A.J. Brown. It's more about what Jettis is doing with limited resources, afforded to him. Somebody asked me about the competitiveness in the NFC East. They said, is the NFC East the best division in football? I would say the NFC East is right up there with the AFC West in terms of the best divisions in football. I would say the NFC East is the best division in the NFC. I will say it again. The NFC East will be the best division in the NFC. Yes, I'm taking them over the NFC North. Now look at this, bro. The Cowboys are going to be improved. That's the nicest thing I'm going to say about y'all bumps. You should improve. You got George Pickens. CeeDee Lamb coming back. I mean, you should be able, Dak Prescott, to put up some numbers. Now, we all know what you do when the games matter, when them palms get sweaty, but y'all should be a much better team. And you also have a guy, who was the guy that was the Chicago Bears head coach that got fired, but he's still a great defensive mind. Y'all know who I'm talking about, but y'all got him as our defensive coordinator. So I think the Cowboys will be improved. The Commanders just came from the NFC Championship. Granted, they got spanked. They got BTA, but I'll give them credit for knocking out an NFC North team in the Lions, putting BTA on them. And I'll say they should be able to build off that. May not have that same success, but they're for damn sure going to be a super competitive team next season. And we'll see what Fat Debo does with them. And the Giants, they're going to win 3 games, 4 max. But they are having the most, the Giants are having the hardest schedule in the NFL. They are having that. So I'll give him that. So we know what the Eagles are. We know what the Eagles are, best roster in the NFL. Best roster in the NFL. Got the best defensive coordinator in the NFL. Got top 2 quarterback. Best offensive line. Best wide receiver duo. Best running back. The best player of the year candidate, Zach Bond. Jalen Carter about to be the best defensive tackle in the game. I mean, everywhere you go, the best cornerback duo, young cornerback duo with Coop and Q. I mean, what can we say, bro? I mean, ultimately, the NFC East is going to be the best division in the NFC. And in terms of the whole entire NFL, it's only going to be the AFC West that I feel like can compare, that I would actually say is over them, but they are a close second there. So that's the nicest thing I'm going to say. This is the nicest thing I will ever say about the Cowboys, about the Commanders, and about the Giants. But we all know who will come out on top and break that little curse that's been happening with the whole, no repeat NFC East champion. That's not happening. That's going to happen again. That's going to happen. NFC East championship. So champions, division winner, Philadelphia Eagles. Let's do it. Ooh, I'm loving this, bro. I'm loving this, bro. Let's shift to the Sixers real quick. Any hope for the Sixers next season? I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I'm cautiously optimistic about the Sixers next season. What's the thing we gotta say? If healthy. Obviously, if they're healthy, I'm saying this. I gotta put that caveat. I'm gonna say it again. If healthy, the Sixers should damn near be favorites to win the East next season. I'll say it again. Because I feel like some of y'all did not hear me fully. If the Sixers are healthy, look at me. Look. If the Sixers are healthy, they should be the favorites to come out the East next season. Now we know what Joel Embiid and health is like oil and water. They don't mix. But can I dream? I'm looking at these Eastern Conference, and I'm saying to myself, I'm not scared of the Pacers. The Knicks are frauds. The Cavs are frauds. The Magic are formidable, but they don't have any real experience for real. The Bucks, they might mess around and trade Giannis. The Heat ain't got nobody. And with the Boston Celtics being out of the sweepstakes because of Tatum's injury, I'm looking at the Sixers and I'm saying this will be the best opportunity for Joel Embiid to get a championship, or at the very least get to the conference finals and or the finals. For real. It's not rocket science. Look at the East. It's weak. If Joel Embiid can be 70% of what he was, like, look, a 70% Joel Embiid is still a top 20 player in the game. Tyrese Maxey needs to take another step. I think he will. More specifically as a defender, because I think offensively he is what he is. Jared McCain showed a lot of promise. The Sixers have to nail this draft. They have to. I would get a guy in VJ Edgecombe, who I know off rip is going to have one of the highest, if not the highest floor in the draft, second to Cooper Flagg. You know he's going to be legit. Ace Bailey, I'm not really rocking with that guy. I don't trust the Sixers to draft a guy that has a big swing in terms of being a superstar, all-star, and being a bust. They don't have the best track record with that. So, no, I don't want to mess with that. I want to mess with a guy that is more proven in VJ Edgecombe. And hell, what the Sixers can do, peep this. And this kind of goes into why I got them doing something. Let's see. Peep this. What if the Sixers traded down to like from 3rd to like 6 or 7, end up getting a future first-round pick? In the draft, they get Derek Queen to succeed Joel Embiid or damn near play alongside him. And then you use that first-round pick that you acquired by trading down to get Drew Holiday. So now you got a true point guard, a guy that can defend a Halliburton or a Donovan Mitchell or a Jalen Brunson, and can initiate the offense to allow Tyrese Maxey to be his best self. I would love that, because the Celtics want to trade either KP or Drew, or both of those guys. And I would actually say they might try to tank next season, try to get a better draft pick and all that stuff, like just like what the Warriors did in 2020 or 2019. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying the Sixers have a prime opportunity that if you feel like you can get your guy in pick 6 or 7 or 5th, and you can also get more assets to make the team better right now, that's a win-win because you're not only making it better for the future, you're going out here and making it better for right now by getting a guy in Drew Holiday. I love Drew Holiday. Bring him back to Philly. Bring him back. Bring yes. Bring yes. That's what it is. Back to the Eagles real quick. I'm flip-flopping back and forth. Somebody asked, should the Eagles trade for Kyle Pitts? No. Why would the Eagles do that? They have Dallas Goedert. This is most likely going to be Goddard's last season with the Eagles. What I see the Eagles doing is playing Goddard on that final year. And then in the draft in 2026, when they got all these assets, they draft a tight end. And I trust the Eagles' judgment in drafting tight ends because they drafted Zach Ertz. And then after him, they drafted Dallas Goedert. And then now it's looking like when Goddard goes out the window, they're going to draft another stud. Now, if it was me, I would have gotten Mason Taylor or Elijah Arroyo, the one guy from LSU, the other guy from Miami. I would have got them to succeed, Dallas Goedert. I would have got them this draft in 2025. But the Eagles, whether it's from Brent Selleck to Zach Ertz, from Zach Ertz to Dallas Goedert, from Goddard to TBD, the Eagles, again, have a tremendous track record of drafting that next generation or that next era of tight end. So if I'm the Eagles, why would I trade assets for Kyle Pitts and he's entering a contract year? And let's say Pitts balls out. It's essentially going to be a one-year rental. 1 year rental. When you got Dallas Goedert coming back. So why would I pay for one guy in Kyle Pitts to be here for a year? I know he's from Philly, from the area, but it's a business, bro. Why would I bring him here for 1 year? He's in a contract year. If he balls out, which would be great, he's leaving. So the assets that you get for Kyle Pitts would basically be void after 1 year versus letting Goddard play out his final year, having Greg Calcaterra back him up, who he did a really good job last season, and then drafting a tight end with all your assets in 2026. I feel like that makes the most sense right there. That makes the most sense right there. So, no, I'm not in the Kyle Pitts sweepstakes. We're about to name our top 15 Philly athletes right now. Top 15 Philly athletes right now. Let's do it. 15, Quinyon Mitchell. This guy is really having a phenomenal start to his career. And he could enter top 5 cornerback talks if he builds off of what he did last season and specifically in the postseason. Number 14, Ranger Danger Suarez. We know he shows up. We know he's a big reason why the Eagles pitching staff is so elite. And it's another guy that is Ranger Suarez's teammate on that pitching staff that is, up on this list. And Ranger, I've never seen him fold in big moments. I've seen the batters fold. I've never seen Ranger fold, especially in the playoffs. Number 13, Zach Bond. I think in terms of a guy that he's come here, bought in, had an all-time great season for an Eagles defender, for an Eagles linebacker, rather. He was phenomenal. He was sensational. Zach Bond deserves to be on this list, and he's one of the best defensive players in the NFL today. Number 12, Tyrese Maxey. Look, if this was last year, Tyrese Maxey's like top 7, top 8. I'd have bump him down because of the Sixers' lack of success this season. But I will say with Tyrese Maxey, he reminds me a lot of a guy in Devontae Smith. And I'll explain that a little bit later because Devontae's coming up really, really shortly. But Tyrese Maxey, as long as the Eagles win, as long as the Sixers win, like he's gonna be the most beloved guy. And even if they lose, he's beloved. I mean, Maxey can't do nothing wrong. So I got him at 12. Hopefully the Sixers have some success and he moves up in that ranking for next season. Number 11, Devontae Smith. And here's how I bring up Tyrese Maxey and Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith and Tyrese Maxey literally are the same. In the NBA, Tyrese Maxey is the NBA's version of Devontae Smith, and in the NFL, Devontae Smith is the NFL's version of Tyrese Maxey. In Philly, both of these guys can't do nothing wrong, and they've done nothing wrong. On the field, on the court, or off the field, off the court. You don't hear nothing. All you hear from them is them being a great teammate, supporting their guys, having that hunger to win. And from day one, when they were drafted in Philly, they showed up. And the Sixers or the Eagles got tremendous value out of picking them, especially given where they were selected. So I look at Devontae Smith and I say, he's the guy who's super underrated. And you don't have to think about, oh, is he going to get in trouble? And like, nothing like that. Nothing like that. No drama, nothing. Same with Tyrese Maxey. I mean, Tyrese Maxey went to the superstar player in Joel Embiid and said, you're the one late to meetings. And he's a young bull. Maxey him. Devontae him. They're interchangeable. My little rant right there with them. A little tangent right there. I kind of dragged it a little bit. Number 10, Kyle Schwarber. So 15, Quinyon Mitchell. 14, Ranger Suarez. 13, Zach Bond. 12, Tyrese Maxey. 11, Devontae Smith. 10, Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber is having a phenomenal season, career-type year. He's going to get paid this offseason. And man, oh man, that is a guy that's one of the best sluggers in the league. Number 9, Joel Embiid. It hurts me to say this, but I cannot put Joel Embiid as a top 5 Philly athlete right now. I can't. Because you're not on the court. You're not on the court. Like, how could you be a top 5 employee of the month and you're not at work? So no, I can't put Joel Embiid anywhere higher than 9. I still will have him on this list, and I think that is showing respect. But if you're just talking about right now, that's where Embiid is, and I hope that he ends up turning the page, shocking everybody, and getting healthy. But it's not looking too good. And I was optimistic about the Sixers. I'm trying to speak life into them, but I do have to keep it real when we talk about Joel freaking Embiid. Number 8, Jordan Mailata. Jordan Mailata is the best left tackle in the game. Best left tackle. And talk about a Philly-type story. Talk about an underdog-type story with a guy who was a rugby player, drafted in the 7th round, and now it's a all-pro caliber left tackle. And is really the best left tackle in the game. He's really, really him. Number 7, Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter is one of them ones, bruh. He single-handedly saved the Eagles' season by sacking Matthew Stafford in the divisional round. He's him. He's the truth. He's going to get paid. The bread man going to have a whole lot of bread. Number 6, Bryce Harper. I think the one thing that has a little bit lower on this list for me is the fact that he doesn't have a World Series championship. Now, that's really not his fault for real, but I do have to have other guys that have won, which, hint, hint, it's going to be Eagles players coming up, a lot of them. I got to have them higher. But I still think with Bryce Harper, I mean, he's really one of them ones, bro. One of them ones. And I wish he was in Philly from the start. But he has some iconic moments. Even though Bryce Harper doesn't have a championship with Philly, he has some all-time iconic moments. Ben Lamento, Ben! Bryce Harper's one of them ones. Number 5, A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, like we've said, is a top 2 receiver in the game. He can go down as the best receiver in Eagles history. I will say it again. I think A.J. Brown can go down in history as the best Eagles wide receiver of all time. We know T.O. is more talented. T.O.'s a top 3 receiver of all time. But just talking about Eagles wide receivers, I think A.J. Brown takes the cake in that, or he will once his career is over. Number 4, Lane Johnson. I just heard Lane Johnson say that at 35, he feels better than he did at 29. That's scary for the league. This is a guy that consistently has a chip on his shoulder. You saw him put out his stats of like his stats compared to Penei Sewell. It was night and day. It's like, this is y'all king. This is who y'all have as first team All-Pro. Like, this is a guy at 35 years old isn't content with being second team All-Pro. I mean, he is one of the best Eagles of all time. He had some issues early on, cleaned that up. Look at him and say, man, oh man, what a joy. What a privilege to have Lane Johnson on your squad. Number 3, Zach Wheeler. One of, if not the best pitcher in the game. He is unreal. Like Ranger Suarez, he never folds in big moments. He's never folded in a playoff game. I haven't seen it for the Eagles, for the Phillies. I keep talking about the Eagles. For the Phillies. So Zach Wheeler is a guy that, oh my gosh, bro, like he's really the best player on the Phillies team. And it's not close. He can single-handedly keep you in a game. And if the bats actually woke up in the playoffs, Zach Wheeler might have a ring. He might have a ring to show for it. That's a guy that he is dependent on the batters. He can't do it all himself. He can't. Number 2, Saquon Barkley. 99 overall in Madden. The best running back in Eagles history. One of the best running backs of all time. Has the most iconic move in Eagles history and in really NFL history, I could say. I mean, if you talk about iconic moves, iconic plays, if you're talking about iconic plays, it's Saquon, it's OBJ in my lifetime. They're right there. So picking which one you want. And I saw that live. I'm like, man, oh man, thank you to New York. Thank you. And number 1, y'all know it. It's not a surprise. It's Jalen Hurts. I feel like if you're the quarterback and you won Super Bowl MVP and you have the most influence on the game, literally because you have the ball more than any person on the team, that if the team wins, gets to 2 Super Bowls, you have an All-Pro, multiple Pro Bowls, I look at you and I say you're the best Philly athlete right now. He's the face of Philly sports. He's the man with the plan. He the one, Jalen freaking Hurts. That's my top 15 Philly athletes right now. I will say it again, going from top to bottom. 1, Jalen Hurts. 2, Saquon Barkley. 3, Zach Wheeler. 4, Lane Johnson. 5, A.J. Brown. 6, Bryce Harper. 7, Jalen Carter. 8, Jordan Mailata. 9, Joel Embiid. 10, Kyle Schwarber. 11, Devontae Smith. 12, Tyrese Maxey. 13, Zach Bond. 14, Ranger Suarez. And 15, Quinn Mitchell. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. All right, somebody asked me about, I didn't tee up this question, but somebody asked me, like, what's my issue with Jason Tatum? I'll just type it real quick. look, I don't have a personal issue with Tatum, him as the player, him as the person. What I have a problem with are his fans putting him in convos that he's not in. Relax. He's not on that level. And what pisses me off is we try to act like Tatum performing well in the finals cannot happen at the same time because he has a all-star team. I said that wrong, but let me break this down. Last season, all I heard was, in the playoffs, Tatum's rebounding. He's passing the ball. Okay. Cool. Star. Superstar. Cool. I'm with you on that. I'm cool. I'm with you on that. Where y'all lose me is when y'all say top 3. Is when y'all say he's over Giannis. He's over like, can we relax? Jason Tatum in the finals, in the 2 finals he's played in, he's averaging 21 points per game on 38% from the field and 26% from 3. 26%. I'll take that back. It's like 34. What is 46? I can get my calculator out because I had my notes and then they cooked me and they cooked me real quick. 46% plus 26% divided by 2. That's 36%. That's not good. Jason Tatum in 2022 finals stats. Let me just see because I don't think he shot 40. If he did, then I'm wrong. Well, he did. All right, cool. All right, he did. He did. So now I'm being a little bit of a hater right now. I'm being a little hater. But let me say this, bro. Jason Tatum in the finals is shooting the ball at a 38% clip and 22 points per game. And in his most recent finals, he shot the ball from 3 at a 26% clip. That's terrible. That's terrible for what y'all prop him up to be. Versus Shea is dropping 32 points on 48% shooting. That's super duper star stuff. That's tier 1 stuff. That's like top 3 player in the league. That's when you get in combos with Jokic and Giannis. That's it. And the top 3 solidified, no question, is Jokic, Giannis, and Shea. And so what I love from Shea is I don't have to question what he will do every night. I know he will deliver. I know he will show up. I know that when it's clutch time, he's the guy that time after time after time answers the bell. And with Tatum, he has a lot of things really, really good and some things great. He's a great rebounder. He can pass. But that jump shot in the playoffs, it's hit or miss. It's hit or miss. And he takes very, very low percentage shots. You're not Kobe, bro. Drive to the hoop. What does Shea do? He drives to the hoop more than any player in the NBA. It's a reason why he gets fouls, because he earns those fouls. And so again, I look at Shea and I say, that's a top 3 player. Y'all prop up Tatum like he's his top 3 player. No, if you want to say top 5, cool. Okay, you want to say top 6, top 7? All right, I'm with you. But top 3, tier 1? No. He's like right under tier 1. He's like a tier 1A. Tier 1A, tier 1B, whatever you want to call it. So that's my only issue with Tatum right there. Last thing, bro. I got 2 last things. And it goes to the Eagles coaches. Nick Sirianni is a top 3 coach in the league. And if I'm thinking about the short list of coaches that I would pick over Sirianni, it's only Andy Reid and Sean McVay. It's only those two guys. And that's because Andy Reid, we know him, his resume. And then Sean McVay is going to consistently get you into postseason. He raises the floor out of his guys, and he has multiple appearances in the Super Bowl, and he has a Super Bowl ring. And he calls plays. Those are the only guys that if you would like swap Sirianni with a coach, I would say that. So Sean McVay, Andy Reid. Outside of that, Nick Sirianni is better than Dan Campbell. He's better than John Harbaugh. He's better than whatever coach you want to say outside of Sean McVay and Andy Reid. He literally has gone to the playoffs in his first 4 seasons as the head coach. That's never happened. And what I love about Sirianni is that he is very, very self-aware. The Eagles were 2-5 his first season as head coach and play caller. What did he do? He gave the reins to a guy he hired in Shane Steichen. Now Shane Steichen is a head coach because of Nick Sirianni's awareness. Jalen Hurts had an MVP level season that following year because of Nick Sirianni's awareness. Now, if he was stuck in his ways, this is my way, I'm the head coach, and trying to use his ego, you're talking about a situation where, oh my gosh, well, they're going crazy on the fire hydrant. But you're talking about a situation where it's like he might not have a job right now because of that. And so ultimately, bro, I just think that whether he's had success with Shane Steichen, Brian Johnson, Kellen Moore, the constant denominator is Nick Sirianni. And his offense has ranked top 5 rushing TDs, red zone percentage, third down conversions. In the playoffs, they had 145 total points. And we saw with the footage in the Super Bowl, Nick Sirianni, what did he do, bruh? What did he do? He told Kellen Moore, just call it. What did they say? For the dagger. So, yeah. It's like Kyle Shanahan, though. Mike Tomlin ain't won nothing since 2016 now. John Harbaugh, early exes now. Again, Dan Campbell, we're talking apples and oranges. Guys that haven't accomplished nearly the success of Nick Sirianni, but you only like them because they make you feel better. That's weird. That's really strange of you. So again, send this to a friend if they think that Dan Campbell, these other guys, is over him because they're cooler, aren't more liked. It just pisses me off. My last thing, the most underrated person in the Eagles organization. Oregon. I went to NYU and I can't even read, bro. I would say this. The most underrated individual in the Eagles organization is Vic Fangio. Now, Vic gets a lot of love, but I think there's another element to him that is so unique. Vic is here to stay. He's here to stay. He's not poaching for a head coach position. He did that before. That ship has sailed. Now he's in his home state where he grew up. He wanted to be here when Jonathan Gannon left. Timing didn't work out, but he's here now. With Vic Fangio, you know he's going to be that common denominator. And the thing about Vic Fangio that's great is he's one of the best defensive coordinators, one of the best defensive minds of all time. That's not an understatement. He flat out is. He is. And so with this, it allows Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Nolan Smith, Jalen Hunt, whoever you want to say on that defense who is young, they get to be coached by a vet who's one of the best in the game that knows everything. He's seen everything, bro. Versus like Jordan Davis, right? He's had several coordinators in his short career. So it's hard for you to build off having, some success if there's different minds, different ideologies, all this stuff. So again, I bring it back to my initial point. Vic Fangio is the most important person, I would say, in the Eagles freaking franchise, or the most underrated guy. Vic Fangio is the most underrated guy in the Eagles franchise because his presence, him being there, allows you to maximize all of the young players on defense. Because a guy in Jordan Davis or Jalen Carter, I mean, they went through Matt Patricia and Sean Desai. Sean Desai is a guy that he was a first-time defensive coordinator. You feel me? Matt Patricia is the worst defensive mind in the history of the NFL, and I'm not gassing it. He really is, bro. A Bill Belichick merchant. And that set those guys back a little bit. And the whole entire defense, they set them back. But when you have an adult in the room, an all-time great defensive mind in the room, that in the Super Bowl, right after, has a meeting and says, yeah, our second half production wasn't that good. OG, we won the ball, OG, but it's that mindset that's going to carry over into next season. And that's why I have Jalen Hunt going crazy. That's why Nolan Smith is going to build off of what he did last season. Jordan Davis will have a breakout year. Jalen Carter will become the best defensive tackle in the game. Coop and Q, they will build off what they did last season. And so ultimately having a guy that you don't have to worry about being in the mix for being a head coach, it's so freaking valuable for this team. Again, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Trying to get to every question. It's going to be more for next week. And man, oh man, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. So, MJ, y'all know I always keep it real. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. We are out.